We got Thursday night football tonight, Jacksonville and New Orleans, and we're gonna take that game apart, top to bottom. Jimmy Adams has a bet for us on it. Andy Lang is going to discuss it from a prop perspective. And we've got so much more, including UFC. I'm Lawrence Presman. My co-host is Teddy Covers, and you're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Jimmy Adams, right off the bat. Welcome, my friend, number one handicapper in NFL again. Who saw that coming? How are you, bro?
I'm doing good, Prez. We went on a 14-1 overall sports run a little while back and hit a little bit of regression. So what does that mean? Now's the time to jump on board. We are on the way back up. So hopefully I can get you a few winners on the show today as well.
Let's talk about Thursday night football tonight. The Jaguars and the Saints, and there's been all this question about whether Trevor Lawrence is going to play or not. The betting markets, they go up, they go down. Lawrence's status is still not official yet. We're seeing the Saints right now -2.5. Total sitting at 40.5 for this evening. What do you want to do with Thursday night football?
Yeah, so can we just real quick run down the gauntlet that the Jags have had to go through lately? They go to London for 2 games, played very well. Then they come back home in what many thought might be a letdown spot. They beat the Colts. Now we have a banged up Trevor Lawrence, assuming he's going to playing on a short week on the road in New Orleans. Spot does not set up well for Jacksonville, in my opinion. And the Saints have a very good defense, especially when it comes to stopping the run. They're giving up less than 100 yards per game, and they haven't allowed more than 120 in any game. They're top 5 against the pass as well. So just overall, very solid. So for the Jags, as rough as the scoring has been, all things considered, the Saints have been really good on defense. Their offense has not gotten the job done. The Saints, all of their 6 games have gone under the total and combined 3-9 ATS between the two teams. They hadn't scored more than 20 points before beating the Patriots a few weeks back. We all know the state that team's in right now. And the 20 came against the Panthers, who are winless on the season. We've seen a banged up Derek Carr struggle to move the ball down the field and convert, which is not all that surprising. The Jags aren't giving up anything on the ground either, just 75.3 yards per game, good for 3rd in the NFL. Given the fatigue factor that has to be setting in for Jacksonville, the lack of offense from the Saints, and the 2 strong defenses, I think everything's pointing towards the under in this game tonight.
So I did my big game breakdown earlier in the week talking about this game. I made a case for the under. I did a video for WagerTalk TV, and I made a case for the under. We have Andy Lang coming on later in the show. He's going to make a case for one of the props under. It feels like every single person that I talk to under tonight. And yet, total's not moving. Sitting 40, even 40.5. And the latest info is Lawrence upgraded to probable. Everyone knows the Saints haven't cashed an over this year. Everyone knows the Saints are 12-0 to the over last 12. Is this just don't even worry about any of that stuff and just keep riding the train until it crashes? And how do we know tonight's not the night it's not going to crash?
Yeah, well, just on top of everything that I kind of said, I'm not 100% sure why the line's not dipping. I think it should be. But, Jacksonville's got a guy by the name of Josh Allen that's going to be in the face of Derek Carr all night long. The Jags love to blitz like 36% of the time or something like that. Derek Carr does not get better against the blitz. They were 3 for 15 on 3rd down last week. So I just don't see where the points are coming from, Teddy. And, I know everyone being on the under is never a good sign, but that's the only way I can look.
Jimmy Adams joining us, everybody. You're watching WagerTalk Today. I got some great bets to give out on our presidential address, so please, guys, hit that like button. Take a second. We need to get to 125 likes. Jimmy is currently on an 11-3 NFL run. Outstanding stuff, dude. We pushed the crap out of you. Told everybody last year how good you were in NFL. Beat everybody at Wager Talk. Doing it again this year. Outstanding stuff. He likes the under in tonight's game. Jimmy's also going to talk about Oklahoma and UCF. We got Andy Lang joining us after that. He's got 3 prop bets all related to the NFL, and we're going to end the show with Kyle Anthony, who's got 2 bets for us on the UFC fight, including the main event with Usman. So that should be great. Stay with us all the way to the end. Hit that like button. And Jimmy, let's get to your next game. We've got Oklahoma at home. They are 6-0. They're in the hunt for the top 4 spots to make the playoffs. They're playing UCF. They're 3-3. The line is -17.5. How do we bet this game?
Yeah, so Oklahoma hosts UCF at home Saturday with both teams coming off a bye. Important for both teams for different reasons. Shouldn't be much of a letdown for you. They've now had 2 weeks to kind of come that high of hosting Texas in the Red River rivalry. The Sooners currently 6th in the nation in total offense, averaging 506 total yards, 6.7 yards per play. However, it's the defensive side of the ball that's made all the difference in Norman under Brent Venables, coming in at 7th overall in scoring defense while giving up just 14 points per game. Now, you're going to see that UCF has some pretty good offensive numbers as well, and it certainly helps when you get to play Kent State, Boise State, and Villanova to start your season. But Big 12 play has not been kind to UCF. They've lost all 3 conference games while getting outscored by a combined 42 to just Kansas and Kansas State alone. John Reese Plumlee expected to start, and he has not fared well against big Power 5 competition in his career. In 3 games in 2022, just a 53.5% completion percentage, and it gets even worse if you go farther back than that when he was at Ole Miss. The Golden Knights have some serious problems on defense, especially when it comes to stopping the run. They're giving up nearly 200 a game on the ground. If you need more than that, Dylan Gabriel used to play for UCF, so he'll be motivated for this game. Oklahoma is also 6-0 against the spread. They've covered every game this season. The Sooners can see the college football playoff. They do not have a very difficult schedule moving forward. They come out motivated. Give me Oklahoma big on Saturday.
Teddy is muted, everybody.
Not anymore.
Nope.
Sorry about that.
Way to
Try
go.
not to hack on air.
Nice adjustment on the fly.
It's what we do. When we talk about Oklahoma being 6-0 against the spread right now, just beating Texas. I know they had a bye week, but they just beat their biggest rival. They're perfect straight up. They're perfect against the spread. When we look at UCF, it's not like they haven't been competitive in these games. You know, UCF plus the 19 would have cashed, 5 times in 6 games so far. Isn't this a little bit rich, point spread wise, given the situation? Or is this just class team versus a pretender team, and it smells like a blowout? But at 6-0 ATS, is there still value on the Sooner side?
Line's probably a tad bit inflated. I don't think you're getting a ton of value, but I am not a believer in UCF. They're a pure fade candidate. As I mentioned, all those positive offensive stats came against lower level competition, did not perform well against K-State and others. And this is a significant step up in class from that. Oklahoma should be very motivated. I do not expect to let down. They are going to soar into the playoffs as long as they play close to the level of their standard. They don't even have to have a perfect game. This one's at home. They stay motivated and cover.
Jimmy Adams, everybody. For any person who comes on this show, any of our guests, I want you to watch that segment. Jimmy was 7 minutes long, tons of information. Brilliantly done, brother. A textbook guest. What do you have to promote?
We're going to promote the NFL. Lawrence mentioned it. Number 1 ranked at WagerTalk, 11-3 run. It's a great time with that. And maybe grab a 3-day all access, get all my college plays and NFL. Let me cash you some tickets this weekend. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a great show.
Excellent stuff. Jimmy Adams, everybody. Guys, 177 of you in 186. We just got a few new listeners. Thanks for joining us. Teddy Covers, I got some stuff to talk about, but let's go with you first. What did you learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
I'll talk about Occam's razor today. And the reason I want to talk about Occam's razor is because I was in the chat. yesterday. I was in the forums, in the comment section on YouTube,
What?
which I try to do every week for Opening Line Report. I do it for the videos. Every week we do standalone videos for every NFL game and every top 25 college football game. I usually have 4 or 5 of those. And I'll get in the comment section on YouTube and answer what Lawrence does here on WagerTalk Today. And it feels like every week there's more of them. This game is fixed. That game is fixed. The fix was in on the Jets-Eagles last week or the 49ers-Browns or any of the other games. Occam's razor is a principle that says if you have 2 competing ideas to explain the same phenomenon, you should prefer the simpler of the 2. And there's all kinds of probability theory that uses Occam's razor as a commonality, a way of thinking about it. Medical students are taught when you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras. How many people does it take to fix a football game? I'm going to take the over on the number of people it would take to fix a football game, a scripted NFL game. How many people does it take for a quarterback to make a bad throw? 1. How many people does it take for a ref to make a dicey call? 1. It's not close. These games aren't fixed. They're not scripted. It's nonsense. Occam's razor, people. Google it if you're not familiar. That's what I learned last night, Lawrence.
Teddy, we are done with this topic. Firstly, you put it up in the chat room, and I'm like, what the hell's an Achsen Machsen? I didn't even know what you were talking about, man. So Teddy coming on and giving us some gameplay theory. Impressive, intellectual, stimulating, awesome, totally correct. And we're never addressing this nonsense again. For all the people who think games are fixed, put it into your algorithm on TikTok. It'll deliver you a whole bunch of more information to prove that you are right, because that's what social media does. Never gives you the other side. It only gives you what you think in the first damn place. And do what you want. Do what you want. I don't care. We're done. We're never discussing this fixing bullshit again. Okay, now, couple of things from my end. Firstly, tonight is the big night for me, Teddy. It is the night that me and my brothers are on stage doing comedy. I will videotape it, and maybe we'll start the show with a little bit of it tomorrow. Who knows? I hope it goes well. It's a 7-minute segment. I wrote every damn word. We practiced for the last 2 nights in a row, and I'm pretty damn excited. So that's number 1. Number 2, I told everybody we had a big announcement coming, and I am going to give it out now. I was waiting for a box to be delivered. It hasn't come yet, and I'm sick of waiting. So we've had a lot of people ask us for merchandise. Guys, go to WagerMerch.com. Dan, sorry I didn't give you any notice to put that up on the screen, but it's WagerMerch.com. All the gambling merch you need is there. Shirts, hats, hoodies, cups, mugs, coasters, mouses, whatever you want. It's all up there. And not only that, but we also have a section on that website where we do gambling slogans like blah, 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 river, like fucking river, or damn prevent, or parlays are for losers. We have poker stuff, poker dad, poker mom. We have sports stuff. It's all there, wagermerch.com. Check it out. Super, super excited about this website. Andy Lang is for sure going to be purchasing a bunch of stuff. So Andy, welcome to the show.
Stole all the stuff I need. I don't need to buy
that's where the
anything
damn
on the
package
website.
is.
Oh yeah, staplers.
Dude, I've been waiting for this
towels.
package for 2 weeks, and you took it all?
I just took what they left out. Gotta lock that stuff up.
Yeah, well, Russell Deck wants an autographed Prez shirt. Buy the shirt, Russell, and we'll meet in Vegas. I'll autograph it for you. Andy, excited to have you. One of the best there is. Let's get straight into it. You've got a prop bet for us on tonight's game. What is it?
Buckle up, everyone. Let's take an under for tonight's game. Listen, they've gone over all the points. I just, Jaguars team total under 19.5. I don't need to regurgitate everything that Jimmy and Teddy have gone under. The only thing I would add is New Orleans defense, 4th best in yards allowed per play. Jacksonville offense, only 20th in yards per play. They've put up some good point totals the llast couple weeks, but like the point total, they had 37 against the Colts. Gardner Minshew was throwing the ball to the wrong team all game. So I just echo what they've said. There's another under that you could possibly look at. But yes, when everyone's on the under in a Thursday night game, oh boy, it gets a little worrisome. But yeah, Jaguars team total under.
Do you worry at all about the Jags having gone over this total each of the last 3 weeks? Trevor Lawrence in much better form now, even though he's still questionable for this evening. And would your opinion change if Lawrence plays or doesn't play? That's still not 100%. He's been upgraded to probable, but there's no sure thing he's going to suit up or last that long if he does suit up tonight.
Yeah, this Jaguars offense, and I do watch a lot of them because, I'm a Colts fan and they're in my division. Their offense it's just a little clunky. It's not a well-oiled machine. You would think it would be like Calvin Ridley has had 2 great games and then some kind of bad ones. And, Christian Kirk is a great talent and Travis Etienne. I love Evan Ingram. And it's like, why isn't this team putting up Dolphins-esque numbers? And there's just something that's not right about it. And I am a big believer in the Saints defense. So and I'm a big believer in the Falcons pass defense. They've been a great, you take the opposing quarterback of the Falcons to go under their passing total. That's been a really good one. So some of these defenses I'm just really, really big believers on, and they've been getting the best of the offenses. So kind of everything that you guys have talked about. I just 19.5. I don't buy the point totals the Jaguars have put up the last 3 weeks.
Andy Lang joining us, everyone. And yesterday we had a guest on who likes the under in the New Orleans team total. So, yeah, Teddy, a lot of unders. Public service announcement. This shirt I'm wearing is a Viori shirt. Vuori. We don't sell it. It's not at Wager merch. It's super expensive brand if you love great clothing. I am obsessed with this brand. Andy, Teddy, I know Teddy doesn't give a shit, but Andy, you gotta check out this brand Viori. Teddy, I know we're on a hard out. We're gonna make this hard out. I gotta be at rehearsal at 2:00. I told you that I was the only person I couldn't control, and I have proved myself correct. Andy Lang.
Which is why I'm reminding you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. But Viori is the sickest freaking clothing you'll ever wear in your life. Andy, anything to add on the Viori line of clothing?
I own a pair of their pants, and you are 100% correct. They are worth it. It is worth the price. I never thought I would pay that much for
right.
And it's like the workout pants, but you could wear them out in public. Oh. They look great. They're so comfortable. I'm a believer.
Dude, the track pants are ridiculous.
They're the best.
And I emailed them. Hard out, Teddy. And I emailed them saying we need underwear. Their underwear, could you imagine how good their underwear would be? Guys, honest to God, you got to check out their site. We're not sponsored by them. I make no money out of this. I'm doing a service announcement for our great listeners. Andy, you got 2 prop bets left. Give them both out. And if Teddy wants to ask a follow-up, well, we'll suck it up and listen.
This has been an interesting start to the year for some of these receiving props, and you're just seeing the big-name guys gobble up all these targets and yards. So let's focus on 2 of them here. Puka Nacua, some would say came out of nowhere, but there was some underground buzz about him coming out, and he's looked great. Here's a big thing. The Rams, they look like they're going to be missing their top 2 running backs. So this Rams team may have to use the pass as a substitute for their running game. And this Steelers defense is not the traditional, really great Steelers defense. They're 25th worst pass defense. They allow 245 yards per game. And this isn't a team that really spreads out the ball a lot. Since Cooper Kupp has come back, Matthew Stafford has thrown for 448 yards. 363 have gone to Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. He had a bad game last week. That was the first time he went under this number, and I just think this is a fantastic bounce back. They lowered the number by 7 yards, which is a pretty aggressive move off of one game. It's like a 10% discount on it. They're going to throw the ball a lot. I don't see much resistance for the Steelers defense. They get carved up through the air. So I like Puka Nacua to go over his receiving total. And listen, maybe this is a square bet, but just give me Stephon Diggs on his overs. It's 84.5. This guy's gone over 100 yards in 5 out of 6 games this season. And you want to talk about a team that targets, mostly one guy. I would say them and the Bengals do this. But for the Bills, Diggs has 49 catches and 620 yards this season. The next best receiver has 21 catches for 341 yards. Diggs and Allen are just in the zone together. Allen is looking for him. And the last 2 games against Bill Belichick, he had over 100 yards. I just don't think the Patriots have the manpower without Christian Gonzalez there. So it's a big number. I don't like playing these big numbers, but you're seeing these stud receivers go over their total. So I'll take 2 of them this week, Puka Nacua and Stephon Diggs.
So I'm not going to try to talk you out of Diggs over, but I want to ask you about Nacua for sure. Because you said last week's the first week he stayed under his total. He didn't have a catch longer than 9 yards last week. He was targeted at a season low times from Matthew Stafford. And when we're talking about LA and their passing game, no shortage of weapons. We talk about Higbee and Atwell, and obviously Kupp. And generally, you talk about how it's been since Kupp came back, it's been these 2 guys. I wouldn't necessarily expect that particular game plan moving forward. Nacua, buy right now on this guy, even after that hot start, even after the Rams receiving core is healthy? Because my thought process, isn't this a guy we want to sell on here?
They traded Van Jefferson, so I think that shows that they just have the utmost confidence in him. I'm a buy. I love this spot after having his worst game of the season stats-wise. The game wasn't really that close. What was it, 26-8? I think the Steelers are going to be a lot more formidable opponent, and I just love this bad defense. 25th worst pass defense. Stafford's going to carve them up, and combine that with the lack of running backs. Don't underestimate that big part of this game, that the Rams are just, they're going to be down to their 3rd stringer. So if you're Sean McVay, do you want to use your 3rd string running back getting 20 carries, or would you rather Stafford just throw it to Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua all day? So I think this game scenario sets up really well for him. And listen, he was great when Cooper Kupp was not there. Had one bad game. Wouldn't surprise me if kind of he's not complaining, but it's like, let's get Puka involved last week. He only had 26 yards. Let's get him a good game this week.
Andy Lang, everybody. Guys, we need 34 more likes. Let's go. Andy, what do you have to promote?
Just do that 30-day pass that we're running, $199. We only run it a few times a year. Might as well take advantage of that. All sports are running good. We're very low volume. Prez, we've only had 3 NHL plays, won all 3 of them. We've only had 7 college football plays this year. We're 6-1. So it's a Formula One weekend. So we're going to have that. And we have a 5% UFC play that is up. We're on a 14-7 MMA run. So really happy with a lot of these sports. Best way to take advantage is use that. There's no promo code needed. You just go on the profile page. You get 30 days for $199. Includes all sports, all 5% plays. So best deal. We only run it a couple times a year. Take advantage of it.
Andy, quick question before you leave. So Kyle's coming on the show right after Teddy's big game breakdown, and you guys put the games in yourselves. So Kyle wrote that he wants to do a pick on Islam Makhachev against Kamaru Usman. Then I mentioned that, and then you came into the Slack and said, well, they're not actually fighting each other. So my question to you is, how do you think Kyle feels as the UFC expert that you have to correct him on who's actually fighting each other?
Well, WagerTalk is allowed to have more than one UFC expert. We're allowed to have more than one college football expert. We're allowed to have more than a couple
But either
experts.
way, you had to correct Kyle. Kyle's coming on to do this. Couldn't even get the matchup right.
I am sure that if I made a mistake, Kyle would have been the first one in line to help a brother out. So I just happened to be in Slack and I saw that. But Kyle's analysis is a lot better than his notes in Slack. I promise you that.
What's the line on Kyle having any Viore clothing? He is a studly dude.
I would, oh man, 50%. It's right up his alley.
Okay. Even money.
Even
Teddy
money.
covers. It's time for your big game breakdown.
Let's do it. Big game breakdown. 12:30 Pacific time, 3:30 Eastern time, Saturday, college football from Morgantown, West Virginia. Let's talk about Oklahoma State, the Cowboys at the West Virginia Mountaineers. Right now, look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. Pretty much 3.5 across the board for West Virginia. Total sitting at 50 for this national TV showdown in the Big 12. Cowboys 2-0 start versus weaklings. And yes, Arizona State's a weakling. And then they lost at home to South Alabama. They lost at Iowa State, allowed 34 points and more than 400 yards of offense to a bad Cyclones offense. They had the bye week. Mike Gudney fixed everything in the bye week, right? Back-to-back upset wins as an underdog. They beat Kansas. They beat Kansas State. But both those came at home, both against pretty good teams, but not necessarily better than the one that they'll face here. This is a Cowboys team last year lost 4-5 to close the season. They ended with an loss at Oklahoma, and then then a home loss as 7-point favorites against this West Virginia. So you have a Cowboys team that's playing well, in revenge, getting better, etc., etc. All that being said, the play here is West Virginia minus the points, not Okie State plus. Look, West Virginia had won 4 straight. They were about to make it 5 straight, and a really impressive game-winning drive from Garrett Green. On the road. The guy's only thrown 1 pick all year. Oops, they took off the helmets to celebrate. 15 extra yards. Enough room for a Hail Mary equals a loss. Neil Brown's on the hot seat. He can't be taking these type of losses. I'm not expecting another one. And when we talk about the 2 defenses here, that's what stands out to me. West Virginia, elite defensively. They haven't allowed more than 20 at home in any game this season. Cowboys, let's just say not as much. So if I'm playing, I'm laying. I think West Virginia is better than these 2 teams, and I think they take care of business on Saturday. Give me the Mountaineers minus 3.5. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Lawrence.
Teddy covers. Awesome stuff. What a great show, man. Guys are going through, giving us the information fast and quick, leaving me room to talk bullshit, and we're still going to hit that hard out. Guys, watching the show late, we released a new website today called Wager Merch, WagerMerch. It's wagermerch.com. It's part of the Wager Talk family. It is where you can go and buy any slogans, logos, etc. that are related to Wager Talk. Plus, we have a bunch of betting slogans and poker slogans, just generic ones as well. I would love to hear your thoughts on the site, guys. Put up in the comment section what you think of the site, and if there's anything that we can add to it, any other slogans that we forgot, anything you want on it. We're in a beta mode, if you speak, so lots of changes can still happen. Let us know your thoughts. Teddy, sorry.
No, I have 2 questions. One, is that linked from wagertalk.com, or do they have to go to wagermerch.com? But it's not linked yet.
It's not linked yet. You have to actually
type
in
wagermerch.com. We'll get it. Yeah. Second question. Do they have if I'm playing, I'm laying as one of the slogans?
No, but they will.
Okay.
So guys, just to give you perspective, I asked every single handicapper 10 times to give me slogans to put up there. Teddy waited until the site went live.
No, I actually sent that slogan to you 3 months ago when you asked me. Yeah,
guys,
along with
the Prez is an idiot, and he tried to lay Teddy out to dry, and Teddy called him out on it, and Teddy is right. Long live Theodore. Speaking of an idiot, Kyle Anthony joining us, everyone.
Cool. Listen, I'm going to go with it's a typo. It was a typo.
Yes,
I got names in my freaking head. All right. We're going off of that.
Yeah. Kyle, we love having you on, dude, and you're as good as it gets in the UFC. I'm just making fun of you. I mean, all of you guys who come on the show know that the joke comes first before your feelings or anything else. I got to entertain. So we love having you on. You're awesome. Let's get into it, dude. Usman. Is that who we're talking about? I don't even know which guy. So which guy? Volkovsky? Like you haven't even fixed it.
Volkanovski.
You didn't even fix the damn
Don't
thing.
you watch UFC? Don't you watch it?
Yes.
Don't you pay
Not
attention
as much
to it?
anymore. I was hardcore in it during COVID.
Listen, Teddy, I get it. Prez, you always were talking about you watch it, you pay attention. I guess not. I guess not.
Not anymore. No, dude, there's only so much, especially in October, November. Jesus, bro.
True.
I'm trying to get Viore to sponsor our show. Focus. Okay.
All right.
Go.
All right.
Go. I don't know who's fighting who.
All right,
go.
All right, so we have Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski in the main event. This is a rematch from their fight that was back in February, which was an absolutely fantastic fight, competitive, very close. They battled it out. Some people thought 3-2 for Volkanovski. Some people thought 3-2 for Islam. It was very, very close, very competitive. But the difference here is pretty much everything for Alexander Volkanovski in this fight compared to that first time. Now, we all know this is, or maybe we all don't know because Prez sure as hell doesn't know, but this is a short notice fight for Alexander Volkanovski, a big spot for him here where he was fighting at 155 and now he's fighting, he's fighting at 145, coming back to 155. And this is big because it's a short notice. It's 11 days, which is absolutely crazy. And also, he's got to lose 26 pounds in 11 days. He talked about that. That's going to be taxing. This is also going to be in another country. Their first fight was actually in home soil for Volkanovski. This is now going to be home soil for Islam. Those things start to become very taxing to the body and certain things he has to do. Now you add in the fact that he's 35. Islam is 32. But he's 35 years old, and as I was saying, he's going from 155 pounds to 145 pounds. Now, I understand that's 10 pounds, but he's really got to be prepared for that, and he was very prepared for their first fight. He knew he was moving up in weight. He knew he was having that fight. He had a full camp. He was totally prepared for it. Ended up having that fight, came down to fight Yair Rodriguez, fought Yair, defended his 145-pound belt, ended up winning that, and at the end of that, he talked about, hey, I need time off. I need surgery. I need to come back in 2024. I'm going to need some time off. Now, all of a sudden, this comes up. He's fighting in October, and it seems very, very quick for him to be coming back. Now, while all this is going on, Islam has a full camp. He is prepared. He was preparing for Charles Oliveira, which is elite level fighter. It's not like he was preparing for some bum here. He was preparing for a very versatile striker, slick on the ground. This all really is piling up against Alexander Volkanovski. And I think this really does three different things for Volkanovski, all these things that he has to go through. It's really going to be the durability, the cardio, and the strength. And all three of those things were really what made him very successful in that first fight. He had the strength. He had the cardio to keep going. He had the ability to keep going forward. Islam is going to be relentless. He's going to be utilizing that wrestling. Volkanovski is undersized. He's probably going to be even more undersized, even less strength. And now when you're looking at kind of how the fight went on the first time, Islam still had 4 takedowns of 9. He had 7.5 control time minutes. That's a lot. And I think he really hammers that. I think he really surpasses all of that in this fight, has the ability to do that, has the strength to do that. And this is also a spot where I don't think, and you've heard Volkanovski say this is a kill or be killed spot because he knows he can't go 5 rounds. I'm pretty sure he knows he can't go 5 rounds. Islam wants to put a statement on this spot here as well, too. And when this line closed on the first time, it was minus 490 for Islam Makhachev. Now we're getting a discount at minus 265, and this is a worse situation for Volkanovski completely all around. There's no doubt about it, no debating it. I think Islam gets this job done, and I think he gets this job done inside the distance. It's plus 140. I think he can really put a stamp on this whole really, I guess, rivalry between these two, but I do like Islam to get the job done inside the distance, plus 140.
So the next fight you want to talk about, these names have to be made up. All right. The one guy's called Johnny Walker Red, or is it Johnny Walker Black? The other guy,
Johnny Walker. Yeah.
Johnny, is it red or black first for that? Or,
red.
And
dude.
And the other guy's name is Magomed.
One.
No, I think
Magomed,
red
is that
maybe blood? I don't know. But I think it's red.
And the other guy's, his literal first name is Magomed, which is not one that I'm familiar with. Magomed Ankalaev. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing Ankalaev in the minus 360 range. Total, I'm seeing 1.5. So you have 2.5s in the thread. I'm seeing 1.5 over -60, 1.5 over -70. You want to make a 2.5 bet? Talk to me about that.
Yes, I
Kyle,
do.
before
Yes,
you
I
answer,
do.
Kyle, before you answer, what drug were you on when you put these things in the Slack channel?
Wait, this one is. I really want the 2.5 here. I understand it's an alt line. We're gonna get into it. It's an alt line. Right? Prez. All right. All right. Listen, this fight here. Magomed Ankalaev, he is -370 wherever he is right now. Then you've got Johnny Walker +280 in this spot here. Now, when you're looking at this fight, you've got Magomed. He's well-rounded. He's very technical on the feet. And you've got Johnny Walker on the other side here. This guy is explosive. He's wild. He's unpredictable. And anytime you're going to be talking about Johnny Walker, you've got to talk about his durability issues. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He has issues. We've seen him rocked. We've seen him wobbled. Even in fights that he's won in the first round, he's been rocked and wobbled, and that definitely brings you to, hey, maybe this is an under spot. That's kind of what we're looking at here, susceptible to being hurt and all those things. But if you really look at it, I think the biggest difference here is really how now Johnny Walker fights and changed his game plan, and really just the overall game plan for Magomed in this spot when you're looking at it. And Johnny Walker, yes, he can be rocked, but he has really changed his overall ability where he's talking about his defense. He doesn't do a lot of stupid shit. He's not doing this spinning stuff out of position, leaving himself exposed, opportunities for the opponent to counter. He's not doing that. And we saw that in a few fights, and most recently against Anthony Smith, where Anthony Smith stood at range. He stood at range. He utilized his reach, threw some leg kicks, never really got crazy. Even when Smith was hurt, he stayed and just stayed at range, picked him apart for 3 rounds. Even against Thiago Santos, another spot where Thiago's not looking to really go in there and bull rush. Either is Johnny Walker. He stood at range for 5 rounds. And the only time that I feel now that Johnny Walker really gets crazy is if his opponent does. If his opponent brings it, like Ian Cutelaba, who's going to be, balls to the wall swinging, then Johnny Walker could do all that kind of stuff. But I do think that we're seeing now a little change in his game, and it's definitely done some good things for him, protecting the chin, having the high guard, working at range. And now you look at Magomed on the other side of this, where this guy is a passive fighter. He does not look for the finishes. He's very low volume. He is elite striker. He has that ability, but that was all really much earlier in his career. 4 of the last 5 went to a decision. 2 of them were 5-rounders. And even most recently against Jan Blachowicz, that was a spot where even there, I mean, it's a title opportunity, and Magomed just wasn't really doing enough to really outwork and put it on the line. He played it safe. He has no sense of urgency, and I kind of feel that's where this is going in this spot. Johnny Walker is going to have a 7-inch reach advantage. He's going to be able to utilize that. This is the normal size cage, not Apex, so I think this also provides the landscape for both of these guys to work at range, to work their shots, and all of that. And I also think the last part really is Ankalaev. Yes, he could get some takedowns, but he's got 18 victories, 1 by submission. Johnny Walker continues to elevate some of his grappling. Even if he goes to the ground, I kind of think he'll be okay, and maybe they just lay on the ground for a while and we finish off the round on the mat like that. So this is a spot here where, yeah, I think Ankalaev has an opportunity. But yes, the line I'm seeing is 1.5 minus 160. I like that. But I really think this is probably going to go to a decision. I think this is a decision fight. Over 2.5, you're seeing some alt lines at plus 125. You've got the decision. That's at plus 150. I think that this gets to the decision. You can maybe sprinkle on all those to protect yourself a little bit. But I do like this going over 2.5 rounds. And if you can't get that or find the alt line, I like the decision at plus 150. I think this gets there. Both of them, this could be a boring fight. And both of them are going to work at range. So I think the over is a good spot here.
Kyle freaking Anthony. Outstanding breakdown, dude. What do you got to promote?
Yeah, so I have a 5% up right now. Take a look at it. I actually have 2 plays up right now, and we'll have maybe 4 or 5 by night, by fight night. So we'll figure all that other stuff out. Prez, hopefully you understand who's in the main event, and we'll square that away on Slack.
Could care less, Kyle. I'd like me and you to be in the main event. I want to kick your ass, bro. Anyway, Kyle would murder me. Teddy, I mean, my God.
Yeah,
like, honestly,
I mean, there's not even a line. Minus 10,000, minus 100,000.
Yeah.
The question is over under half a round.
Well, if I showed him a picture of a woman, maybe he'd, get distracted or something. Anyway, Teddy covers. Awesome show, bro. We have got, I got it. I already put in a request for if you're playing, you're laying, it'll be up this weekend. So
that's not the appropriate phrase.
Let me see if I messed this up live on it.
I'm laying. That's the quote.
If I'm playing, I'm
not
laying.
If you're playing.
Yeah, I like the pun there, though. It's beautiful. Okay, enough. Done. Move on. Guys, we got 125 likes, 137. Thank you all. I got 4 bets to give out in the daily presidential address. Okay, guys, it's time for your daily presidential address. I got 4 NHL bets to give out before we get into that. I got a big card going tonight. I got a Thursday night football bet up for my clients. I've got a 4% college football bet up. Last year, this was the week that it all happened for me. From this week till the national championship game, I went 62% in all my college football bets. So a great time to buy me. I had a winning Saturday. I got a college football play up tonight. And I also have 3 NHL bets tonight, including a very rare 4% play. My favorite NHL bet so far this entire season. You check it all out, all access pass. All the picks are put together. Head over to WagerTalk and grab that. Okay, so 4 bets for tonight. Let's start right off the bat with the under in the New York Rangers Nashville game. Nashville is not a team that I think is going to score a lot of points. For some reason, the Rangers can't score, even though they have goal scorers up and down the lineup. These are 2 heavy teams, 2 slow teams, and 2 teams are going to grind out wins. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 3-1 game. Take under the total of 6. Also, I'm going to give out a client play today. I released this play to my clients, St. Louis and Arizona, under the total. The only way St. Louis can win any game they play is going to be to the under. Arizona put up 1 goal in the last 2 games. St. Louis has put up 3 goals in 2 games. We're going to go with the under in this game. I think it's also going to be an extremely low-scoring game. I love the Leafs tonight, but I hate the line. I was going to release the Leafs as a client play for all of you tonight if the line was around -115, but it is now -135, and it's simply too high, but it's the right play. Florida beat the Leafs last year in the playoffs. The Leafs have circled this game. This is an important game for them, and a game that I don't think Florida gives a rat's ass about. So I do like the Leafs tonight. I just think the price is slightly too high. And my favorite play is the Anaheim Ducks plus 220 against Dallas. Here's the bottom line. The season has just started. Anaheim just beat what is arguably the best team in all of hockey in the Carolina Hurricanes. This team doesn't know yet how bad they are. They're feeling good. They're in the dressing room, in practice. Oh, we beat the best team in the league. Maybe we'll have a great season. You won't, but you're feeling really good now. As for Dallas, they just came off 2 grueling matchups against Vegas and St. Louis. This team has got to be banged up already and tired. I definitely think Anaheim is a great live dog. That's it for me. That's it for the show. Teddy, lots of love, my brother. Take us home.
Sure, that's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, right here on Wager Talk TV. Be sure, check out all the other free content on this channel, including previews of every single NFL game and every single top 25 college football game, along with all the other great programming like Lawrence's NFL, like Beat the Odds, like Bet on It, etc., etc. That's going to wrap it for today. Enjoy the games. Best of luck with your wagers. We'll see you guys tomorrow right here on Wager Talk Today.